can see everyone, and Salah doesn't seem as overbearing.
You're a liar.
Yeah, you seem overbearing everyone.
Of course.
Did you start talking yet?
I was just mumbling the whole time.
Can you understand Salah? Raise your hand if you can understand him.
Like 3 people.
Raise your hand if you can't understand him. Must speak louder and clearer.
Oh, I see how it is. This is because the Hobbit's here, now I'm the bad guy.
You're always the bad guy.
Everyone wants to throw me through a window now.
You guys know the distinction between Maori and Samoan? Raise your hand if you know the distinction. Nice. It's now educational. You know, we filmed in New Zealand, and Peter Jackson on the first day had all the cast and crew. Were you here for this? And some of the Maori elders came and blessed the set and blessed the production. And I'll never forget what the man said that day. He said a lot of things, but the one thing he said that I'll never forget was, may the land treat you well, and you treat the land well, because it's been here long before you, and it will be here long after you, right? That blew me away. That thought was with me through the entire movie. So the Maori culture is pretty amazing. It's the Polynesian culture in New Zealand. I don't know, kayaks, canoes, how did they get there from?
No, the Maoris are the indigenous people to New Zealand, like the Aborigines are to Australia, but they're all convicts.
No, the convicts were from England. The Aboriginals are indigenous to the place.
But they send the convicts there too.
Right.
But,
and they intermarry, and I understand where you're going.
So, but the Samoans are basically from Samoa. The Pacific Islands is above New Zealand and Australia, Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, Kakala, Niue, Papua New Guinea. I'm sure you didn't understand a word I was just saying.
Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Tonga, I got a few of them.
Fiji,
Niue.
Yeah.
And you're from where?
Samoa.
They're big and they're mean wrestlers, man. But funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sort of.
So is that why your cast is like one of the worst bad guys in the movie?
Quite possibly.
One of the cool things about Lord of the Rings is that in the books is that all different kind of cultures interact, and sometimes they fight, but the ones that are the coolest, they get together. Elves and hobbits and dwarves, and at a certain point we have to figure out how to get along. And I think there's a lot of that going on in New Zealand when we were making it. There were people actually from all over the world who came to work on the movies, people from Europe, a lot of the digital folks came from Northern Europe. And
yeah, they did. Why is it that you hold the mic like that? I saw you do it.
Because if you speak right into it, then it kind of vibrates. But if you speak off to the side, your air kind of goes past it, you can hear it.
It was really the way you were moving like this.
I know, like a piccolo.
High fiber of puppets.
You have anything?
No, just do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think it's always the best in these situations. First, thanks everybody for coming to the panel. Is it our first solo panel together?
See.
We have Samoan, Hispanic, a double threat.
We did do a panel at
Comic-Con, right?
Yeah, but that was with the rest of them.
And there was dancing involved. You did the haka, didn't you?
Yes, I did the haka.
Yeah, you're good. Scary. You guys know about the haka? You don't have to do the haka. Don't do the haka.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
No, but you guys know about. Raise your hand if you know the haka. Oh, you guys, this is the war dance of the Maori tribes, and it is truly terrifying. You might have seen it if you watch any of the. Sometimes there's like a Nike commercial for the All Blacks, and they'll show them on the field doing it, and it's really amazing. It's actually a kind of political breeding too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a war dance. Basically, before you go to war, you put the fear in the eyes of the enemies that you go to. But you see it before a rugby game of the All Blacks. Because they do it before they play rugby, before they destroy the English.
And it was explained to me that this idea is that you're calling down your ancestors to inhabit your body and transmit all the power and influence and strength from them into your, into the force of your will. And Peter Jackson used to talk about how, I can't remember if it was World War I or World War II, but how, a group of Maori natives did the haka, and it scared these two German machine gun guys out of their turret. So I don't know, I can't remember exactly how the story goes, but it's a really cool thing. So and Solid did it when we were on our last panel, but not on this panel. So anyway, why don't we see if questions make sense? Does anybody have questions? And I don't know if we have somebody with a microphone who can go out to them. I don't know. Yesterday we had the microphone. What? Hey, wait a minute. All right, so I'll talk for a little bit more, unless somebody in the front has a question that we can hear.
But I told you, right?
I take over. Samwise Gamgee became the mayor of Hobbiton and had 16 children. Never a dull moment. Raise your hand if you have a question. Anybody? No thoughts? Okay. Cool. Well, we can just talk then.
Yeah, we just mumble. That's all I
Hey, man.
I'm good. Wonderful. How are you?
Good?
It's good to see Mackenzie.
Yeah, my little brother is here, Mackenzie. He's actually an actor. He was in, he's been in a lot of things, but for Disney, right after I did Rudy, right after Rudy came out, a movie that he did called Iron Will for Disney that was about a big sledding race up in the north, and he played the title character of Will. So I had Rudy and he had Will come on. That was pretty cool. Usually at conventions I go to, people come up and they want. He was in Facts of Life.
He was awesome in the Facts of Life.
Yeah, he was little guy. When George Clooney was on the show, they did that together. But this is his first convention he's ever been to, so I'm surprised he made it. He woke up this morning. He ended up judging. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
He judged the masquerade competition. I don't generally know about a lot of the stuff that goes on, but Mac is becoming an authority.
I heard it was quite hilarious.
I'm too scared to ask questions. I was busy at home watching, or in the hotel watching Inherit the Wind and falling asleep early. That's what I was doing.
Yes.
Do you have a microphone for others to ask? All right, if at any point while we're talking there's something that occurs to you that's interesting, raise your hand and we'll try and field the question.
Yes.
Raise your hand if this is your first convention. Wow.
Right on.
Wow. Welcome to the intent. And you're not an elf or something. You look very kind of incognito as a civilian.
Yeah.
Yeah, cute. So, I know, we've got all the normal things we can talk about, but I always feel like we talk about it so much that it's good to find people have a particular...
What are you doing next, dude?
What am I doing next?
Just before you answer the question, I just want to let you know that I was making fun of you and 51st Dates.
Here?
With that guy, I think that...
Is that why they're so intimidated? You told them about me in a Speedo or something? It happens, people. Get over it.
Speedo and the mesh shirt. That was awesome.
Oh, no, Speedo was the other movie. Right, yeah, my shirt. Protein thing. It's so funny, like, walking through an airport, you kind of have to be a little bit of a social ninja. Because you never know what somebody may or may not, a lot of times people don't recognize me or others, but sometimes they do, and you never know if they're going to talk about something serious and important that they remember you from, where you played a drug addict or a homeless person, or they're going to talk about the Adam Sandler movie where you wore a Speedo and were made a fool of, or, you just kind of, you got to be ready to go or if you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody about, the funny thing, and then all of a sudden, hey, I just recognize you from yesterday. I got to ask you a question. The thing that you recommended, was that on that list? All right, I got to make sure, because I won't remember you and then the young girl from last night. I was trying to remember what you guys said, and I couldn't remember. A lot of times the actors get as much out of the attendees as the attendees get out of the actors. So, but anyway, when you've done a lot of different things, I've been blessed to work in different genres and so forth. Yesterday, somebody was asking me about a horror film that I was in where I played this sadistic, homicidal cannibal character. Yeah, a love story. No.
Everyday role.
Yeah. In the life of someone. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I don't know what people want to hear about. We can talk about Lord of the Rings.
Should we talk about your foot?
Sure.
You guys know that Sean got a little big thing stuck in his foot, went through his prosthetic hairy foot.
Raise your hand. I'm sorry to do these spot opinion polls, but I want to try and direct the conversation in a way that will be interesting for people. So how many people have actually seen all of the Lord of the Rings extended versions DVDs? So they've heard all of our rap, man. We've got to do something different. They know everything. The foot, they can tell you all about the foot. Do you know there's one thing that's not in the DVD about my foot? So, how many people have watched the extras on the DVDs? A somewhat smaller group, by 6%. I noticed. So, my foot, I ran, and there's a scene at the end of the
No,
first
we don't
film.
have to talk about it anymore because they already know.
But anyway,
Tell them about the foot then.
Your topic.
Your foot.
There's a scene at the end of the first film, The Fellowship, where Frodo has broken away from the remaining members of the Fellowship, and he's going to head on the rest of the mission by himself. And Sam realizes this and goes running after him. And Frodo has essentially stolen an elven kayak or canoe. Elven, right? They're elven tails, big, yeah. Right. So the elven canoe, and Sam comes running in to the water after him. And hello again.
Thanks, Jeff.
That's Jeff. He's really helpful. He knows a lot. He was regaling me with stories about Star Trek philosophy last night. Yeah, there it is. He told me about this. It's a Jewish thing from Leonard Nimoy's A Good Jewish Boy. In the ceremony, you do this, and then he took it and did that. I learned that from Jeff last night. That's not Lord of the Rings, though. Stay on topic.
No, but I am in Star Trek.
You are on Star Trek. Did you know that?
Now you want to talk about it. Did I know it? No. That's kind of
I
weird.
just taught you something. The foot. Anyway, I went running into the water, and something, either a branch or a piece of glass or something, with all the work they'd done to clear it out, was not there. And where you have the Hobbit feet on, the prosthetic feet on, and it punctured right through and went right to the bone. And I remember, they were cutting, it hurt, and they were cutting the feet off, which I wish they would have done every night, because they got the feet off faster that way than they did with the normal get the glue off solution. But anyhow,
Like I would know. The Dark Lord, dude. Trying to steal my ring.
it's like they knocked the helmet off. No, I have to think of the parallel. There is one. So anyway, when they cut my foot off, Elijah was sitting there, looking, and a big blood clot kind of plopped out. And Elijah said, "Oh, wow, man, look!" And he got a stick and he was poking at it. Peter Jackson was like, don't poke his blood clot. No, I was like, it's fine, he can poke his blood clot. It's
It
not
was like a
problem."
little tumor.
Yeah. Gelatinous, something or other. Yeah, that was the, yeah. That's a little bit that wasn't in the DVD. You want to say anything about Star Trek before you go to the bar?
They all know about me in Star Trek. Yeah. If you want to say some more, it's fine.
Star Trek rocks. Is it just going to be Star Trek? What's the title? Star Trek?
Star Trek Begins.
Begins.
I don't know, dude. It's called Star Trek, the new Star Wars.
Star Trek. Star Trek, just Star Trek. Wow. Wow.
Doesn't matter, I'm in it. That's all that matters.
Like Cher.
Sean's got it.
Okay, this lady up here in the pink just had her hand raised. Wait, hold on. They're going to come up to you with the microphone. It's going to take a minute. Star Trek. That's cool, man. The what? Star Trek with what? With Sally Baker.
But I died.
You can hear the music. Done.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, young lady. Wait, you got to turn on the microphone. Can you turn on the level or?
Can you turn on her mic, please?
Does it work? Okay. I remember watching the extras with the extended DVD of the Fellowship of the Ring. I remember watching Elijah Wood talking about stuff, and he had mentioned that you're very neurotic about safety. Is that true?
Yes. And I fear to say any more in case he hurts me.
He was scared to go in the helicopter.
No, that I wasn't scared to do.
Yes, it was.
No, I was not. I love the helicopter. That's my favorite thing. What I was scared was when we were in the helicopter, we were at the top of this one mountain, and they had choppered in a I've been in fighter planes. I love flying. But here's the thing. With Elijah and Dom and Billy sitting in the helicopter when they're doing a kind of brisk, it wasn't an evacuation, but they needed to get us off the hill relatively quickly because a storm front was moving in, and they didn't want to have us stay in this Florida cabin that they had brought up there. This looked like a small trailer, and they had to pack the heaters, food, food and stuff in case you got stuck on the mountain that you want to be able to survive for 3 days until the weather cleared and they can come and get you. Just an extreme, precaution, but they had done it as part of the rules. So we get in the helicopters, and now they've got 5 helicopters coming in on a very small precipice, landing like this, right? One would land, we'd load up. It was very, you had to be very careful. I don't want to say that it was recklessly dangerous, but there was an element of danger involved. Everyone was aware of it, and we were all willing to take that risk, no problem. We load up in the helicopter, and as you take off, the next helicopter is coming in. Now, surely the pilots haven't worked out with each other the kind of pattern that they're going to take off the mountain. But there's no air traffic control. We're in the middle of nowhere. And Dom and Billy and Elijah have the headsets on that the pilot has on. And they're talking, oh, dude, and the pilot, he's ruddering his thing over there, and he's like, starboard at 7942, get 493472. And Elijah, Billy, and Dom are talking, like, guys, shut up, let the guy focus for a minute. And that's how the initial damn broke about what a paranoid freak I am. But I like helicopters. I know you. Let's go in a helicopter right now. That was a good question, thanks. Actually, people at conventions, when I was really talking about that, we did things that were, in normal life, if you do them, you think, wow, I don't know if I should be doing this. But we did it as a matter of course because we were involved in the making of an epic adventure. And it was, I'm sure when they made Lawrence of Arabia, there were things that they did that pushed the boundaries, and I think we did as well. But I had a thought, just went out. Oh, go on. Oh, my buddy down here, yeah.
Yes, how was it looking at some of the ranges of the panoramic views that you see in the movie? They're just breathtaking. How is it to work kind of up there in that environment?
I'm from there, so it's fun. That's where it was happening. I'm from there, so it didn't bother me so much, but showing the American.
Yeah, as an American, I was totally blown away, man. It was awesome. I made a movie in the Sierra Nevadas, and they're incredibly beautiful. And I've spent some time near the Grand Tetons, but it's not like this. It's not like this. This is really special. It's really unique.
You basically get 4 seasons in one day. They can change on a dime really quickly.
But and just the geology, the stratum that you can kind of go through, just from everything that's in the books. I said to one interviewer that was quoted a lot right when the first movie came out, that it felt to me reading the books when we were down in Queenstown, Cape Town, South Africa, in Queenstown, and I had some time off, and I just reread the books, looking out at these incredible mountains and this really crystal clear lake that we were on, and we could go on the lake and fish, or it was cold, but I even went in it, it was amazing. You could parapont and get a parachute's eye view of it, and so it was amazing. And I just remember thinking, it's like Tolkien walked across New Zealand and then sat down and started writing the trilogy. And the one funny thing that occurred to me to mention is that, as pristine and untouched by human hand as many of the locations were, there was one time that we were somewhere in the North Island, I kind of think like north of Mount Ruapehu, kind of where it gets really flat again, somewhere around there. Anyway, when we were doing the walk across, when Frodo and Sam at the end of the movie are walking across the plains of Gorgoroth, and it looked like that. It really looked like that. And as we got out, the locations person said, listen, if you see any unexploded ordnance, don't touch it. Leave alone the unexploded. And then, we were apparently working downrange from where the New Zealand Army would do their artillery testing. So, and there was, the location guy, okay, they're on sector 479, so if you can put that, close off that grid, that'd be great. Pretty fun.
Right there, young lady.
Hi, you mentioned watching Inherit the Wind last night, which I'm guessing was on Channel 13, public television, which coincidentally, I happen to work for that station. So I'm wondering, do you and your family watch a lot of public television?
I don't think it was public television because there were no commercials. Usually on public TV there are commercials. That was you? Yeah. We absolutely revere public television. I like the news stuff. I think the
Hold on. I think you're lying through your teeth because Mackenzie over there is saying otherwise.
yeah, Mackenzie wasn't able to walk straight at that time. you watched it. You watched some of it. Channel 13, yeah. So he was there. Yeah, he was laughing. He said it's his new favorite movie. There's some really good stuff at the beginning. That old time religion, that old time religion, that old time religion, it's good enough for me.
Anyway,
So yes, big public TV advocates. I'm particularly fond of the news programming. So public TV interviews usually get a lot more substantive stuff there than you get in other places. A lot more detail, longer conversations with smart people who maybe not be as attractive on other TV shows. So I like it.
The baby said hi.
Well, there's a lady over here. Young lady.
Hello, thank you for coming. I remember watching in the extras that you would headbutt like Viggo Mortensen and Orlando Bloom. Do you still do that when you see them?
Short answer. Oh, no, Vigo, yes.
That's the legal answer.
Yeah. Well, no, I do just Vigo only. But the weird thing about that whole situation is that I've been to a couple conventions. People want to headbutt me. It's kind of weird because I'm like, ooh. Because I'm Samoan, so I have a head like concrete, and so does Vigo. So when we do it, it's like the crashing of titans
Or coconuts.
or coconuts. I just threw it out there. But yeah, like fans always trying to headbutt, and it's kind of it's because I don't want to hurt people. So I think it's why I don't do it. I'm not an advocate of any different sexual. But yeah. Do you guys know, remember that scene in Karathungle? When he's running up the stairs trying to save Frodo? Did you guys know that Sean killed me in that scene? Just before he says the line, this is for me, old Yappa. Remember when you threw me up the staircase? That was him. I was the second guy, I think.
The stunt guy is usually concerned with making sure that whatever the agreed upon body posture is adhered to during the actual take, whereas I'm more into the emotion of it. So, it's not that big a pad for him to fall all the way down onto, so I had actually blocked that from memory, but you felt well, sir.
Thank you.
I didn't want to headbutt you, so I just put it.
See? Push it.
Well, that's one of my favorite things to do. That felt like an Errol Flynn movie, getting to do that.
Yeah, he was like coming off the staircase, one after the other.
Yeah.
Young lady right here.
And then there's someone with some sort of alien attached to it.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver up there. We'll get you in a sec. Put your hand down.
Hey, Sean.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You're a fan of old movies? Yes?
I'm scared.
No. If you had your choice of any movie to do a remake of, what would it be and what part would you want?
Oh, good question, but you know what? The best old movies shouldn't be remade. Right? So, but another way to think of it is if I could have been in that movie, which one would I have been in? And then, of course, if I was in it, it wouldn't be that great movie, it'd be a different movie. There's no winning. If I could actually be Peter O'Toole in Lawrence of Arabia, not be Sean, but be Peter O'Toole and have it his body and do it, that'd be a good one.
That was my answer before too, I was just forgotten.
If I could be George C. Scott, not Sean, but George C. Scott in Patton, these are among my favorite movies. Yeah, I mean, there's some great old ones too. There's one, Facing the Crowd. Facing the Crowd, that's one that my wife always said she thought if it got remade, that I could be good at that. So there's an idea. Great, now where did I start? The lady with the alien face gets named.
That's a dude. What the hell? Sorry, that was...
You know what, I'm sorry. I was projecting my own feelings.
That's only because I couldn't see your face
Yeah,
and
he said Sigourney.
I called you Sigourney Weaver.
That's right.
That's only the...
Okay, when you were first made, right before you guys were what were you expecting? Were you expecting a movie or...
Repeat your question.
What was solid? What were you expecting the movie would be when you first got the movie? Was it you expected it to be a big movie or what kind of movie?
When I was doing it, I really had no idea of the magnitude of the movie. And I thought it was going to be kind of cool, but I didn't really know how big it was really going to be. Because no one knew. I mean, Neely was really a first-time director. After doing Friday, you know, this is the first
He
biggest
wasn't
thing.
known on the global stage.
He wasn't known on the global
It was the
stage,
first time.
so I didn't know it was going to be this huge. But you know, I had a fair idea that it was going to be kind of cool. They're making a great book, but you know, what did you think?
I think I do. I think I do. I mean, there's no way that you could know like what it would feel like or what it would 100% look like, but you could sense that it was massive. I mean, first of all, for a movie, just from a kind of an industry perspective, to see that a motion picture company was going to purchase 3 movies at once at this scale and magnitude without seeing how the first one was going to perform, and knowing that when I went to Barnes & Noble to buy my first copy of Lord of the Rings, that I had like 19 different editions to choose from. Clearly there was like, you know, you knew that this was something big. But when you got to the location, when you got to New Zealand and Peter gave you a tour of Weta, and you went into where they were doing the chainmail, and you met the guy who was in the corner, whose fingers had been nubbed down to the bone, who had personally linked all 472 trillion pieces of chainmail and was just waiting for the moment where he could see the New Zealand Army put it on and walk around with it. You know, that you look at the armory, look at the chainmail, you see it's not computers, it's not just, you know, extras that are hired from Central Casting to go and be in the crowd. This was like massive, and you could tell it was massive, and it wouldn't be being done if it wasn't going to have. So, I mean, that's the answer I give today. I can kind of give a lot of different answers, but that's the first one that occurs.
So I was wrong.
Yes, you didn't feel the way you felt. You felt the way I felt. You should remember that going forward.
He has a tendency to yell.
What? Raise your hand if you can still hear it. Raise your hand if you can't hear it.
It's only because my voice is so deep that you can't hear what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
Don't let me feel bad because I'll sound like everyone. No, I'm not.
How was it working with Tony Shalhoub right here?
So expect that.
Yeah.
How was it working with Tony Shalhoub on the set of Monk? I know it's totally random, but I just want to know.
No, Tony Shalhoub on Monk. I mean, what a brilliant character, and he's been well recognized for it. And you know, I don't know how much longer they're going to do that, but I got a kick out of it. He's a really lovely guy. When he seems to have enough energy to, you know, interact with everyone from his car to the dressing room to the makeup trailer to the, you know, all the way onto the set and people who come by. So he's really, you know, to be able to do that and know that you're doing it for years and then be focused enough to deliver a great character performance. And they get a kick out of their visitors, you know, and he'd seen Lord of the Rings and loved it, and so, you know, he was really nice to me, and I had a great time. Follow-up question? Anyone wearing yellow can have a follow-up question.
Is he really as neurotic and OCD as the character, or is that just his character?
She wants to know
What are you asking me for? I wasn't on my...
with your help. Yeah, but you know politics. I would say that he is in no way like his character, which I think makes that performance that much more awesome. I think if he was like that and played that character, he would have lost his mind. Like if you couldn't tell where that started and where, you know, you ended or whatever. So no, he's a pretty, you know, we talked about current events and stuff when I was there, and he's got a very lucid, easygoing, social style. Actually, I played cards with him not too long ago, and he was hilarious. He paid me a great compliment, actually. We were sitting next to each other. Just remember this, we were sitting next to each other. This was like 3 weeks ago. God, am I going pretty mental. He said, I won a hand. I don't win a lot of hands when I play. And I won this hand. And he said, oh, well concealed. I'm like, it's awesome. Good compliment for Tony Shalhoub. This gentleman knows us over here. Wait, they're going to bring you a microphone.
1 second, my friend. Right there, behind you.
One of the best parts I thought was when you were fighting that spider. That was a really cool how you saved your friend. And you saved your friend from the spider. And then at the end of the movie, you finished the book. That was so cool.
Yeah, Sam is Sam is a gift, a literary gift to the world. Tolkien really, I think, saw himself in Sam and saw the best in humanity in Sam. And you know, kicking the spider's butt was kind of a cool thing. I had to train for that. They had to train the spider for that. Also, there's a lady up in the white. So that was amazing. And then the idea that, you know, a lot of people say, you know, Frodo never would have done it if it wasn't for Sam. Frodo never would have done it if it wasn't for Sam. But I think sometimes people lose sight of the fact that it would never have got done if it wasn't for Frodo. It's Frodo's sacrifice. Frodo's Christ in this story, and he allows his total soul to be given over, and he dies doing it. So, you know, yes, he couldn't have gotten there for Sam, and Sam is, you know, a very important hero in the story. But I always find, you know, Sam wouldn't have accepted credit for it, and Sean representing Sam, I kind of feel like it's important to.
Cry a lot.
Yeah, cry a lot. And, yeah, so, but the book, the idea that he bore witness to history, and that history can only be learned from if someone commits it to oral or, you know, written tradition, and that gets passed forward. So, and Sam is, at one moment in the course of, you know, time, in Middle-earth, is the gatekeeper of that story, or one of them. And I think I love that about it too. Standing in that little room in the Hobbit hole when Frodo hands him when he hands him the Greyhaven, the book, and it says the rest is for you. I mean, it wasn't hard to cry on that one because it really is powerful, poetic, you know, symmetry. This lady in the white had her hand behind. Yeah, was that you who had your hand up there? No, I guess you left. See, you didn't call her.
Hard to stop me from talking, but she moved from up there to down there. See, doesn't pay attention.
Okay, I have a question for both of you since Sala hasn't been getting any questions.
I don't need to talk anymore.
What would you say was your favorite part of each of you when you working on Lord of the Rings?
I'll tell you a scene that was never in the movie, which was my favorite. I actually wanted it to be in the movie, and I begged Peter for it, but he said no. So there's the forging of the ring. Originally, we had shot a scene where I have a gold nugget in my hand, and in one of my pictures, it shows me basically stabbing my hand. So when I basically pull this one away. So what I do is I put my hand out, and the gold nugget melts in my hand. And I grab my dagger and I stab my hand, and I mix my blood with the gold, and then I put my hand down, and the gold and the blood mix together. And as I bring my hand up, that's the only scene in the movie, it forms one ring around my finger. It's kind of a cool scene, but they didn't make the cut. They didn't make the extended, but that was my favorite sort of part of the movie, except for killing everyone. Yes. Yeah. But it was kind of a cool scene though. And then I kill everyone.
You smoked everyone.
I smoked everyone, and then Isildur cut my finger off. So that was my favorite part. And question for Sean. What was your favorite? Crying. Again.
The helicopters.
Oh. Which ones?
All of them. I loved it. I felt like I was going on Marine One to work. Well, there's about 1,000 to choose from, and it's kind of arbitrary. So, at the moment, since I miss my daughter, I'll say the scene with.
Did you see her in the movie? His daughter in the movie? So you can tell the story.
My daughter Alexandra was 3, and she plays Sam and Eleanor's daughter. Sam and Rosie's daughter Eleanor. Sorry. So, watching her get in her dress, and getting her hair made up, and having her feet on, and watch her have to be so patient for so many hours with the uncomfortable, sticky feet on, and, you know, watching her be shy and not listen to me, and then listen to Peter. She listened to Peter, she didn't listen to me. And I was nervous, like, do it right. Yeah, maybe I'll pick that one for today.
And yes, young man. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, some people think that Samwise was the true hero of the Lord of the Rings series. Do you think that's true?
I think he was one of the many true heroes of Lord of the Rings. Is that a fair answer? Yeah. Yeah, for all the reasons that we just talked about, I think he was, his honesty, his trueness, is that a word? His steadfast determination and loyalty, and his contributions that he made to the fellowship. Yeah.
I'll give him that one. It was kind of good.
It's like Darth Vader and Ben Kenobi here or something.
Darth Vader is nothing to me.
He didn't have a cool ring.
No, he didn't.
Mentioned about the scene with your daughter, and I believe in your book you said originally she had some dialogue, that then there was a voiceover, Frodo talking as that scene was shown. Do you remember what her dialogue was?
Yeah, it was just from the book. It's the one, I love you, Daddy. That was it. We were sort of hoping to hear it, and then it was, you know, that Howard Shore music. You know, the Academy Award-winning Howard Shore music, that one, the one that's singularly identifiable with one of the great films. Yeah, that. It's on.
One of my favorite things in Lord Gollum is fantastic. We always see Gollum on screen. What was it like Andy running around like a maniac?
He's amazing. Watching him work as with the suit on and not being Gollum, but just he gives such an amazing like even off screen, like when he's talking to these guys with you know, his facial expressions, and he's totally it's so amazing. Because I was sitting behind the camera just watching him, and his facial expressions are just it's amazing. I thought he was doing pretty good.
No, I've said 1,000 times that his intensity made me way better than I would have been without him. And I know Elijah feels the same way. And we stayed at this place on Mount Ropain, which is the mountain that the volcano that we filmed as, you know, the corridor, filmed on, active volcano. And kind of halfway down the mountain, or 3/4 of the way down the volcano, there's a place called Le Grand Chateau, which is a perfect setting for any one of a million movies that people in this hall would love to see made. It's really cool and old and creepy and haunted, and, you know, it's awesome. And out in front of the manor, or this, you know, estate or whatever, are these rolling grounds. It's sort of a golf. Did you stay there? Yeah. Then we stayed at Powderhorn. That was the other one. But anyway, these rolling hills, and like there's a golf course, but not a golf course, but like, you know, the sheep ate the grass. That made it short enough to see the ball, and therefore it's a golf course. And they put a flag every now and then. So, but the first time I met Andy was, I borrowed up 3 clubs and, you know, 3 balls, which were likely to get lost in the first 3 of 9 holes. So, but we're going to have a go at it. And he had just arrived, and we met each other. And it was like, hey, when he came up and we gave each other a big hug, a lot of man hugs on Lord of the Rings, particularly among the Samoan.
Oh, just like the hobbits didn't hug in the movie.
I know, true.
Hugged and cried the whole time.
Tough competition. When we hugged each other, he hugged so hard, like he was a mountain climber, and the density of his bones and the strength of his tendons, was like, felt like, you know, you're gonna die. And if he shakes your hand, and I've shaken a lot of hands. I think I've got a nice, firm, good, you know, handshake. It's like he's gonna crush your bones with his joy for life. Hey, it's good to see you. You're like, oh my God, what did I? And he's like that as an actor, you know. And he had a disadvantage because nobody had ever done what he was doing before. I mean, you know, in certain special effects movies, similar kinds of things, but never with the kind of authority that Peter Jackson had granted to him as the character of Gollum, who was going to be an animated character. So here you had this guy who was a wonderful, accomplished actor with the kind of intensity that you can only, you know, think exists in 5 actors. And some of the people, myself included, kind of would look through him. Not being respectful to him, penguin.
That is awesome.
Did you see the penguin in the front? If there was a guy and a penguin sitting in front, I said, March of the Penguins. Not March of the Penguin. All right, so but anyway, you know, they would say, okay, let's do the reference pass, where we do a shot with Andy and the two of us, and they say, okay, now let's shoot it. As though the reference pass was kind of rehearsal. And, you know, after months, you could see it was just really eating him because he was really doing the character. And we were really feeling the character from him, but at the same time, we'd have to separate in our minds, like, okay, now it's there. He talks about having encoded our brains with the work in our rehearsals, and that's absolutely true. But we'd also have to make a distinction where we then would do it, having to account for the fact that he was standing there now and not right in front of us. We were looking in air where Gollum would be. And we, you know, I remember going to Carol, the first assistant director, and just saying, can you stop calling it the reference pass? Can we come up with something else to call it? Can we call it the performance pass or something like that? So that Andy knew that what he was doing was being acknowledged by people around. Because in the first period of time when we start, people would be doing other things. They keep lighting and stuff. Well, by the time they figured out the technology, they were actually doing scenes and shots of him with all of us, where then they would actually use that shot and they would paint him out or layer Gollum on top of him. So then they became indistinguishable from each other, the reference pass and the actual shot. So, and then he stayed on, you know, Andy's story is legend, so he pioneered, he's truly the Edmund Hillary of digital motion capture photography and performance, so, yeah.
Some girl up the top floor. Oh, the girl with the glasses right there.
Yeah, right there, the glasses. Stand up. There she is.
Mr. Baker, I was wondering if you knew the Haka do a couple steps. My best friend plays rugby at Fredonia, and we go to Icon every year, except for this year because she couldn't come back down, and you would make her entire life.
I would love to, but it's not really something to just throw away.
It's a sacred thing.
Yeah, it's not like, because it has to be done in the
Let's hold a
intensity.
mask real quick. No, it's like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like if I do it, I'm doing it for nothing. There's no, and it's
Teach her the first word, just the first like sentence. To teach it is okay, right?
yeah.
Teach her the first word.
First word is kamate. Kamate, order. Kamate is like come, I think bringing the gods up above, down. Tenete, tanata, huru. You can check it out online on YouTube, and it'll show you the words and stuff. But it's just, it's not something to be, you know, done lightly. So I'd love to, but
It would be inappropriate.
I would have to murder someone.
It would be inappropriate.
Throw the through a window.
What about our loving fans across the world? Message to the loving fans across the world.
Live long and prosper.
That's a good one. Now, I'm out. I just learned. No, I just say thank you. You know, the fans gravitate towards stuff that they love and that they appreciate, and generally that stuff that's made with love, and it can take all different forms of thought, creativity, and everything else. So, and for people who are fans of Lord of the Rings and of Sam or me or whatever, I would just say thank you.
Just thanks for
And
following.
live long and prosper.
And thank you for supporting our work of Show with Brian.
Peter said that to me. Because you're very good at crying. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yell it out. No, put your hands around your mouth and yell. Everybody get it? Everybody out here get that?
Any major accidents on the set besides what was mentioned?
No, I mean there were lots of little things, but I wouldn't say there's any major accidents.
No. go 9 levels in my head, nothing, but it's fine.
Yeah, Vigos. Well, that wasn't on the set. Vigo got hit by a surfboard. His tooth, you knocked his tooth out.
Oh yeah, I did.
And then they were like, well, let's get rid of the dentist, and he just
glued it. Because after he hit me on the head and I did 9 staples, we had the fight on Helm's Deep, and he accidentally knocked his tooth out. And they were like, let's go to the dentist straight away. And it was like the last hour of the day, and it was like, just glue it. It's like, glue it?
super glue.
Super glue it, yeah. It's done.
Right, two more questions.
Two more questions.
That one guy here.
Oh, wow. Are you guys or any of the other original cast going to be involved in the production of the upcoming Hobbit movie? Wait for him. Oh, sorry.
I don't think so.
I would, Samwise isn't in the Hobbit, and I mean, they're going to be great. They're going to be great. Guillermo del Toro, Peter Jackson. I just said yesterday, it's like a couple of kids, ditching school to go blow shit up in the woods, blow things up in the woods, But no, I don't expect to be called to be a part of it.
That's $1 in the job, buddy. One more question, right here.
Who influenced us?
Influence you, sure.
Well, I've had a ton of influences. One of the things I'm proud of is I was smart as a young person to collect mentors along the way. If I saw somebody who I connected with or I thought had ideas or experience that I could, I would just beg them to teach me and show me and ask them questions. And so that was smart. But, my mother and father, really, I mean, if you want to get down to ultimately who had an influence on the choice of my, path and career, my mother gave me a very working class kind of mentality. You go to work, you're on time, you hit your mark, you say your line, do what the director wants, kind of ethic. And my father was all about education, formal, classic education. And really, I think those two things really enabled me to be able to navigate a lot of the things I needed to in order to build a career over time. So,
I'm pretty much the same thing. My mother's pretty amazing. She had twins last, and I'm one of 10 boys and 2 girls, and there's so many of us. And my mother's just a genius. She's just a wonderful lady, and she made me into the man I am today. Being Samoan and in America, just kind of going to a totally different place. And she's my inspiration. It's just, I love Mami's. Mami's awesome. Especially my mom.
thanks everybody.
Thank you so much.
Great.